This was must-see TV. I mean, such a high-level basketball game. Can you describe what it's like playing in a game like this?
High-level athletes. You know, they got a great team. They got a lot of guys that I'm familiar with and that can hoop, that I've been playing with my whole life or against my whole life. So it's just a lot of fun when it gets competitive like that, when it gets a little physical and all that. So, like I said, it was a really good win on the road.
Individually, you were tremendous tonight. What was your mindset?
Just be aggressive.
Congratulations. Good luck on the rest of the road trip.
Thanks.
Welcome back to the All Things Basketball Podcast. What an amazing game last night between the Celtics and the Nuggets. There's a lot to talk about from last night's game, and I just want to jump right into it. Don't want to waste much time because there's a lot that I wrote down for this game. Got my notes right here, and we could just jump right in right away. First of all, props to the Nuggets for, after losing to the Sixers in a way that was very winnable, they kind of threw the game away at the end. Sixers played a great game. Embiid was ridiculously good. But yeah, you know, they kind of had a meltdown towards the end of that game. I think that game was very winnable for the Nuggets. I think a lot of people agree with that. But to respond in this way, winning at Boston, where obviously they have a franchise record 20-0 at home, the only undefeated team at home this season, that speaks to what a championship team does. And despite having a bad game in general in terms of shooting from three for both teams, this was an exciting game. And let me just go through this quick little box score stuff that I kind of wrote down here. Nikola Jokic, 34 points, 9 assists, 12 rebounds. And on those 34 points, 63.6% from the field, 50% from three. You get Aaron Gordon with the most impactful 2-point game ever. Just big 10 rebounds, right? A block, I think it was on Jaylen Brown. You get Michael Porter Jr., not a mind-blowing game, but solid defensively. He made some big shots. Just though he had some key putbacks, just big rebounding game for him as well. This speaks to what the Nuggets have on a night-to-night basis. Like, they have so many weapons around Jokic and Jamal Murray that even if those guys aren't clicking offensively, from like an efficiency standpoint, they're going to find ways to impact winning. And that's what makes this team just an animal, right? Just a massive beast and a big problem to deal with. Peyton Watson, right? Hasn't been efficient offensively, but, you know, here's a good stat for some of you Denver Nuggets fans. He had the best defensive rating in this game at 102.6. Awesome game defensively from Peyton Watson. Had a backdoor cut, you know, kind of cleaning up some things. He did hit a big three. But yeah, all in all, obviously, the offense is something that, you know, we're kind of still waiting on with him. He's still a really young player. But just knowing the things that he can do for these Nuggets. And then we're looking at Jamal Murray, right? 35 points on 71.4% from the field, 42.9 from three. 8 rebounds, 5 assists with just 1 turnover in the entire game. He had a ridiculous second quarter, 15-point second quarter, and then another 11 in the fourth quarter. Is he the most underrated guard in the NBA? I think there's a case for that. When you really look at the conversations amongst the guards, right? We love Shea, Donovan Mitchell, some people will say is underrated. Jalen Brunson is someone that a lot of people feel is underrated. You know, then you get into those popular names. Obviously, I already talked about Shea, but then we're talking about, you know, the Dames, Steph Curry, you know, even Luka. You know, we get into those conversations, and I feel like the person that I should be hearing more about in these conversations is Jamal Murray. Like, this is a guy that's basically the go-to guy. He's the focal point of the offense, like outside of Jokic. Obviously, that two-man game with Jokic is the main offensive game plan for the Nuggets. You know, they get into this two-man game, and we're talking about a guy who's 1A, 1B, whatever you want to categorize him as, on a championship team with Nikola Jokic on it. He shows up in the finals. He has never made an all-star team. He's never made an all-NBA. So it's like, when do we start mentioning Jamal Murray as the most underrated guard in the league? You know, the knock on Jamal Murray kind of on a tangent here, but the knock on Jamal Murray has really been the streakiness, because going back to that Sixers game is one of those games that he will give you from time to time, where he scores like 4 points in an entire half, right? And then he comes here and just dominates the game, right? Dominates the fourth quarter, dominates the second quarter, but consistently good throughout this game. So, I just wanted to kind of go off on a tangent about Jamal Murray because I just feel like he is someone that I don't hear enough about when we're talking about the great guards in the league. But I want to move on because this really is just Nuggets Celtics pod right now. So Celtics side of things, right, on this box score stuff. Ugly shooting night from Tatum and Brown. They combined for 2 for 17 from 3. Not good, right? 4-point second half from Jaylen Brown. You get a 2-point second half from Kristaps Porzingis after having an amazing first half. Derek White was really their best player. Just such an important piece to this team. He was the most consistent Celtic last night. Just doing it everywhere, right? Doing a little bit of everything. Scoring, defense, everything that we always talk about with Derek White. And the Celtics fans are going to go out there and say, well, we didn't shoot the ball well, right? And that's true, but neither did the Nuggets. We're looking at the 3-point percentage, 31.8% from the Celtics, right? 25.8% for the Nuggets. The Celtics had just 2 turnovers all game. They took care of the ball really well. The Nuggets only scored 2 points off of those Celtics 2 turnovers. We're looking at the Nuggets 9 turnovers. That led to 17 Celtics points. So, it's really interesting how if you go look at that box score, the field goal percentage aside, the free throws are very neck and neck between these two teams. You start to look at points in the paint, right? Celtics had a little bit more points in the paint. I think it was like 40 points for the Celtics and like 36 points for the Nuggets in the paint. So this was a very competitive game. It lived up to the hype. I think that this was a game that it's being named as the potential finals matchup. And just to touch a little bit on that, this is definitely the finals series that I want to watch this year. I think that this will be, I don't know if maybe I'm seeing it in my own way, but I think this would be probably the best finals series in terms of, you get the Celtics who are just banging on that door, right? They're trying to get that first championship. And then you get this, obviously the Nuggets side of things. Can they win back-to-back? What is that going to do for Jokic's resume, right? Now we're talking about a back-to-back, most likely a finals MVP, right? Back-to-back championships. Just, we're talking about all-time stuff. If this is something the Nuggets are going to be able to do. Obviously, a championship in Boston is just one of the many they have, but, now we're talking about Tatum in a different light. The comparison to whoever plays his position. But, the viral play of the night here was the Nikola Jokic, baiting those Celtics into a free throw lane violation. Just shows you his intelligence night in and night out, just always showing you how smart of a player he is. It was a really funny moment. I'll put the clip on here for you guys to check it out. But, just this game was very exciting. It was very competitive. It was physical. It came down to the last possession. I think that the Nuggets played really well defensively. You can say from the Celtics side of things, hey, if we shoot the ball better, this is a better game and maybe they win. But if you're looking at it from the Nuggets perspective, the only 3 players that really showed up offensively were Michael Porter Jr., Jamal Murray, and Jokic. We didn't get a good offensive game from Aaron Gordon. Right? We didn't get a good offensive game from KCP, right? KCP played really well on defense as well. He played hard. There's some things you can go back to and kind of see him deny the ball on Tatum. I think that it's just going to be a very interesting matchup if we do see these two teams play in the finals. One of the most important things that I see from these two teams is the fact that they can solve multiple problems, right? Not a lot of teams can say that about their lineups. If you play them in single coverage, right, they can swing it around because their 5-out lineup is ridiculous, right? All 5 guys can shoot threes. All 5 guys can put the ball down and get to the rim. All 5 guys can just make a play, So this really puts pressure on an opposing defense, right? If you double Tatum, you're going to leave a wide open shooter. Maybe you'll leave a good cutter. They're going to lock in defensively. They're elite on defense as well. So the Celtics are, Michael Malone said they're the best team in basketball. Obviously, record-wise, that's accurate. But I think that this is just a finals matchup that really would be probably one of the best in recent memory, just because of the exotic offenses that we'll be watching, the chess games between both coaches. Obviously you get Nikola Jokic playing for championship number 2 in a row. Where would this put him all time? These were all my notes really about the game. I think I just wanted to kind of talk about this one because it just lived up to the hype. It was as good as it was advertised. So that's going to do it for this quick episode. This is the All Things Basketball Podcast. I'm your host, Vic Lopez, as always, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.